Alrighty then. I made some roster changes in Revenge Starcade Edition. Alright, we're going to start off with Hollywood Hulk Hogan. I made some changes in Attire 1, giving him the without the shirt, and then Attire 3 giving him the name Hulk Hogan instead of Hollywood. Fourth attire is actually his first attire. Scott Hall, I had to change from the red print on his trunks to white. Same goes with his third attire, which is actually from white to red. Kevin Nash. Attire change for Attire 1, giving him blonde hair and also his 1998 gear. And also his third attire is actually his 1997, I think early 1998 gear, Macho Man. I had to give him his Wolfpack attire. Second attire is actually his default attire, but without the sunglasses. Giant, a.k.a. The Big Show, no changes. Same goes with Sean Six-Pack Waltman, a.k.a. X-Pac and 123 Kid. No changes for our boy Sean Waltman. Kurt Hennig, also no changes for the Perfect One. Alrighty. No changes for Kurt Hennig. Eric Bischoff, no changes for the Bish. For Eric Bischoff. Alrighty, we got more NWO guys. Continuing with Scott Flash Norton. No changes made for Scott Norton. Marcus Buff Bagwell. Buff the Stuff. No changes made. Then we have Bryan Adams. Not the singer who sung Summer of '69. Although I did change his name to Dennis Rodman in his fourth slot, because you know his fourth character select slot is actually Dennis Rodman. The Bogus Sting, no changes. Same goes with Masahiro Chono. Also no changes for Masahiro Chono. Like I said, Bryan Adams' fourth attire slot is Dennis Rodman, which I had to change because Dennis Rodman was named Bryan Adams by default. Great Muta, no changes. Ravishing Rick Rude, also no changes for the Ravishing one. Vincent, although that's the Disciple. I changed his name to the Disciple in slot 2. Mr. Wall Street, a.k.a. Mike Rotunda and IRS. And then Horace Hogan in attire slots 3 and 4. And that's Horace Hogan in attire slot 4. And then we move on to the WCW guys. Starting with Sting, attires 1 through 3. Oh wait, attires 1, 2, and 4, no changes. Well, attire 3 is his 80s gear back when he had the blonde surfer gimmick. Lex Luger, attires 1 through 3, no changes. But attire 4 is when I gave him the Wolfpack shirt, just like what he looked like in WCW Mayhem, since WCW Mayhem had no attire, alternate attires. Roddy Piper and DDP, no changes. Bret the Hitman, I had to make some changes for attires 1 and 2. Rick Steiner, Dogface Gremlin, no changes. Big Papa Pump, I had to give him attire 1, his 1999 gear, and then swapping to attire 4, which is his 90s gear when he had the Richard Simmons style, the puffy Richard Simmons style hairdo. Goldberg and the Warrior, no changes for both. And then we got more WCW guys. Continuing with Booker T, attire 1, some change. Attires 1 and 2, I had to do some changes, giving him his 1998 99 gear, his first attire. Stevie Ray, slight changes for attire 2. Lord Steven Regal, no changes for Lord Steven Regal. Then we got Bam Bam Bigelow, the Beast from the East, no changes. No attire changes for Bam Bam Bigelow. Fit Finlay, the Man Who Loves to Fight, I had to change his face in Attire 1, plus Attire 4 is Dave Taylor, and Attire 2 for Fit Finlay is his darker hair and the mustache. Jim Duggan, no changes other than Norman Smiley, which is his fourth slot. Disco Inferno, no changes for Disco Inferno. Das Wunderkind Alex Wright. Also, no attire changes for the Wunderkind, Yuji Nagata. Attires 1 through 3, no changes. But Attire 4 is actually Jerry Flynn. Not Jerry Lynn from ECW, Jerry Flynn. Chris Jericho, no changes for Jericho. And now we're at the cruiserweights right now. And we have some slight changes for Eddie Guerrero, for attires 1 and 2. Rey Mysterio, no changes. Although Rey's second attire almost reminds me of his later WWE days. And then his fourth attire is his unmasked attire. Back when WCW started to severely go downhill. Ultimo Dragon, no changes for attires 1 through 3. Although that's Jushin Thunder Liger, I did change attire 4 to Jushin Thunder Liger. Juventud, no changes for 1 through 3, and that's Super Callow in attire slot 4. Chavo, the nephew of Eddie Guerrero, and that's Mr. JL for attire slot 4. La Parka, no changes for La Parka. Then we have Psychosis. Plus, I forgot to change his fourth attire slot to El Dandy, because we all know that's El Dandy. All right, now we move on to Jim the Anvil Neidhart. And that's the Ice Train. Davey Boy, no changes. And we all know Davey Boy's fourth attire is actually his WWE attire from 1999-2000. And then Glacier, no changes. Although Glacier's third attire is actually based off of Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero. All right, Ernest the Cat Miller, no attire changes for the Cat. Mortis, no attire changes other than I had to change slots 2 and 4 to from Canyon to Chris Canyon. All right, Wrath, no changes made for Wrath. Then Prince Iaukea, another newcomer to Revenge at Starcade Edition, no changes for Prince Iaukea. Then we have Larry Zbyszko, the living legend himself, also no changes made for Larry Zbyszko. The American Dream, Dusty Rhodes, the father of the current WWE champion Cody Rhodes, no attire changes made for Dusty. Then we have Raven, the leader of the Ravens flock. Again, no changes made for Raven. Perry Saturn, I had to change his name to his full name from Saturn to Perry Saturn. And same goes with Billy Kidman. I had to change from Kidman to his full name, which is Billy Kidman. Although attires 2 and 4 are actually his 1999-2000 gear, back when he was not only dating Tori Wilson, but also had that infamous feud with Hulk Hogan. Then Reese changes name to the Yeti in slot 4. And Scotty Riggs and Stick Boy both share the same slot. Then we have Van Hammer, who died recently. May he rest in peace. No changes. Oh, and then we have Lodi, and slot 4 is actually Stevie Richards. Then we have the biggest roster omission from the original Revenge, which is Ric Flair. No changes made for the Nature Boy. Arn Anderson, also no changes. He who must not be named, and we all know why I call him that, because of what he did in 2007, and that's Brian Pillman in slot number 4. Steve Mungo McMichael, the ex-husband of Deborah Marshall, who is also the ex-wife of Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that's Kevin Green in slot 4. Jeff Jarrett, Double J himself, no changes made for Jeff Jarrett. And last but not least, we got the Dungeon of Doom. Conan, no changes. Big Bubba Rogers, who is also the Big Boss Man. No changes other than Attire slot 4, which is Avalanche or Shark. Barbarian, no changes made. Meng, no changes made. And then we have Hugh Morris. It's a no laughing matter because there's no attire changes for Hugh Morris. Kevin Sullivan, also no changes made. Like I said, the only names that I have to change for attire slot 4 for Kevin Green and also El Dandy. So those are the only 2 changes that I have to make for Psychosis's 4 slot and also for Mongo's 4 slot. Change from El Dandy in slot 4 for Psychosis and also slot 4 for Mongo, which is actually